and I was going shopping in the store, and I was talking to my friend on the phone, and I'm like speaking English. I'm like, yeah, I got to get some mouthwash to get it. And this Japanese guy came in front of me, and he looked at me, and he said, one of the things that gave me the advantage is because my name was a Japanese last name, that helped it a lot. If they, when I went to the bank and I'm telling them I want to start a school and everything, and the bank seen this Japanese, that was the hardest thing when I had the school is that, and I'll be honest with it, I used to have like 2 teachers over here. It was my friend. I said, his name was Rocky from Australia. I said, Rocky, I want you to work here. Why? I'm a terrible teacher. I said, no, but you're white. White is right. Wow. And I had him in here just to get to. So let's come into my school and I'll show you.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Melanated Files. My name is Ranzo and today we are joined by Richard, truly a man or a jack of all trades. When people say that, they are talking about him. Actually, right? We're in Fukuoka still, right? So I want you to introduce yourself to the world. Richard, tell them who you are and the many things that you do, because you literally do everything.
Well, first, my name is Richard Inoue. So I have a Japanese family last name. And the best way to describe me, I'm into all kinds of arts. I do all arts. Anything that's art, I mastered in. So starting from cooking, dancing, singing, music, sculpturing, engineering, culinary arts, computers, building things, 3D printing, crafts, anything. So anything that's considered art, I'm in it. It's me.
All right. And we're also in your...
This is my school here. Yep.
All right. And the R2 that you're sitting beside, you actually built this.
Yeah. Let me tell you a little bit about this R2D2. This is officially the first R2 in Japan. It's licensed as the first R2 in Japan by LucasArts and Film. So I have a license for this one. This is R2J1.
Okay.
I had a lot of unhappy campers back in Tokyo that said, oh, it can't be the first. And it is the very first R2D2 in Japan.
All right. So tell me, what brought you to Japan in the first place?
Wow. What really brought me to Japan? I was always into manga and a lot of the old school Japanese animation. Mm-hmm. So that curiosity kind of intrigued me. But it was a job offer that I had in Toyota in Tokyo, and I didn't think I was going to get that job.
Okay.
But I said, well, let me just go for the trip, the experience. And yeah, I did the interview, and I came back, not thinking I got the job, and then a little bit I know, 2 weeks later, they said, can you get here by January? I'm like, what? And this was back in, I would say, June. And I thought, I got to move everything and start my life in Japan. So I did start off in Tokyo, but that was just for my training. And then they moved me to Nagoya, which I was working in Toyota in Nagoya. And after I did that, I enjoyed it. And that made me really wanted to stay and push it out in Tokyo. But it taught me a lot once after I became, more settled in Japan.
So wait, what were you doing before coming to Japan?
I was a software engineer. I was working with a travel agent and I was doing a lot of the software for them.
And then you saw a job offer to work at Toyota in Japan and you applied for it.
Yes.
Right? So you got the job. So what was the position?
It was a software engineering. It was basically software engineering and troubleshooting.
Okay.
Yeah, and then once I started that, I thought it was going to be real MCI work, but it wasn't. It was just basically looking over, checking the English corrections for a lot of software that was coming out and just making sure. So my job theoretically only took about 20 or 30 minutes, but you're working 9 to 5. So the hardest thing at that job was just to look busy. When you already finished the job in 20 minutes, and I'm like, I have nothing to do, but they try to teach you, you got to look busy, you got to wait for, just in case something comes up, you got to be ready. So that's what I was doing when I was here. You
told me that getting the job at Toyota was a lesson in perseverance, so tell me about that.
Yeah, well, what happened was, coming from America, you had this attitude or mentality, you got to be the best of the best. And I was really good at that. I wanted to stand out, I wanted to show myself. So the first thing that I've learned is that my clothing stood out too much. I had purple suits and then I had green suits, and everyone that used to see me walking go, wow, wow. So that first I had to learn to kind of tone down. And then after that, my work ethics, basically I always tried to show that things were easy and I finished it quickly, which was a bad thing.
Okay.
So I've learned to stretch things out and to like, okay, let me see if I can do it this way and spend the whole day working on it instead of saying I got it done in 30, 40 minutes, which theoretically only took that, but it made a lot of my colleagues look like I was like inferior to them. So yeah, I had to kind of water a lot of things.
Or even superior?
Well, they at first thought I was inferior to them because I couldn't speak the language.
Okay.
But when it came to the English, it was the opposite. So basically, I had to water things down to make them feel that okay, well, he's one of us now. So it took time. It took like about 2 years. Working with them to kind of fit in and go with that type of mentality, or to go with that type of thinking. Working with Toyota. Toyota was fun though. I learned a lot working in Toyota.
How long were you at Toyota for?
I was with Toyota for 5 years.
Okay.
And then once after my project was over, I was trying to work with other projects, and I found myself doing a lot of recording projects, and that was my knack. Everyone said, "Oh, you got a great voice. You got a really good voice." And then I started doing voice recordings for example, the Navy. Your door is open. Your door is ajar. Stuff like that. And then I started doing a lot of other voices. And then I didn't know that Toyota had contracts with Panasonic and all these other companies. And I started doing voices for them. So what caught their eye was the Aichi Bumpaku.
Okay.
Which was a really big thing. And I did the Toyota voice when it says, "Toyota, drive your dreams." Funniest thing about that video is I never got paid for that.
Okay.
Well, because you're an employee of Toyota. So, hey, you work for Toyota. You're one of our employees. But that was an international worldwide video. I mean, the voice itself. So every commercial, that if you go back and you hear that was me. Okay. And I'm like, but where's my money? You're an employee. You don't get paid. So that was one of the things. But that opened all the doors for my future endeavor.
So voice acting.
Yes.
So how long did you do that for?
I'm still doing it.
Okay. So could you make us hear some voices? Maybe just a few things that we might have
I'm going to blow some minds right now. Okay, I already told you one was Toyota. Well, I was working with the radio station, so I was going, Cross FM, Powercast, Cross, Super Sunday, AU, Grande Information, or if you can't trust the weather, trust your tire, Bridgestone. And one of the most popular is Asahi Super Dry. A lot of those I used to do.
Okay. Yep. So tell me what are you doing now? Like a new one, maybe something current?
I do voices now for children recording. So I do a lot of English voices for recording. For example, I make my own little CDs and stuff at school, but I make listening CDs for children. Okay. So I pronounce alphabets and how the correct way to pronounce it. So I go B, A, apple. So I do a lot of stuff like that for recordings for English programs.
You got a school. Tell us about the things that you're doing currently in Japan.
Wow. I'm doing a lot in Japan. I always keep myself busy. Other than just doing the school, I do an English workshop, which is just a English camp workshop. And other than that, I do a lot of YouTubing with my children. And I like to help people. For example, the orphanage. Japanese orphanage, a lot of people don't think it's a really big program. And they don't like to show it. But I do a lot of free work and a lot of volunteer for Japanese orphanages. And funniest thing about when I do this, they always, why are you doing it for us? Why? I said, because that's just how I am. So I did the Christmas party for them. I did a couple of birthdays for them. I did a New Year's party for them. So yeah, I like doing a lot of volunteer programs. Okay,
so you've been in Japan for 23 years, right?
Yes.
So why Fukuoka?
Fukuoka, good question. The women are better. No.
I feel like you're being serious.
Oh, I am serious. No, it's funny. No, it's funny because I started in Tokyo, and then I was in Osaka and in Nagoya, and me and my friend said, why did the Japanese women in Kyushu look better? And it's hard to explain, but less makeup and more personality and open-minded. It was just, when I came here, I enjoyed it and I didn't want to go back. It was I would take trips. We're going to go to Fukuoka. Let's just go to Fukuoka. What's in Fukuoka? It's the women are better. Now I've been living in Fukuoka for 16 years. 16 years. I've been in Fukuoka for 16 years now.
So what's the greatest struggle in Japan that you've overcome?
Oh, wow. The greatest struggle that I overcome will actually actually surprise you. Getting my driver's license.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, first of all, they take advantage of it. If you were, like, for example, if you lived in Canada or you lived in Australia, it's easy. You can turn your license over instantly.
I did that.
But because I lived in America, you cannot. And
Except Washington, D.C.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I took the test, and I failed it.
Okay.
Then I took it again, and I failed it. And I failed it. I took the test 22 times.
22 times?
It took me a year. And I have proof. That's what I was looking for. I took the test so many times that they knew me. And they would walk and say my name. Oh, Richard, come about there, come about there. I was pissed.
Wow.
And it's not like, you might think it's a driving test. No, it's a written test.
Okay.
And it's because the written test was so badly written in English that it was part like, maybe English and British English. And then the constructs of the grammar was wrong. So, and this is what they didn't know about the test. You would think, all right, the test is 100 questions. You have 60 seconds to do 100 questions, and the sentences, where Japanese test is 100 questions, but the Japanese kanji is short. It's like one line. Where we got an English question, which is 3 lines or 2 lines.
Yeah.
So you got to like really skim through, go yes or no, yes or no. And then there was a construct of, it's like, you're not supposed to drive here. You're not supposed to drive here on blah, blah, blah. Yes, you're not. So does that mean yes or does that mean no? That's why. Okay. So it was crazy. And I would say all kinds of like things I can't say on YouTube. Boop, boop, boop. Oh man, I was furious, but I never gave up.
Wow.
It's like they took me through the ring. I think I spent about $3,000. $3,000. Because if you think about it, you spend about $50 for every test, like a little about $50. And I did it for a year.
Wow.
And I didn't give up.
So when it was like your 10th time, like what were you telling yourself?
I was pissed off. I was like, I went in there and told them the English is wrong. And I showed them, I was like, well, you can't show us because we can't, they knew it was wrong. But the English is wrong, and I knew the test word for word. And there was like 4 different tests. So I know, I'm getting test 4502 or 4503. I knew as soon as I seen the number at the top, I knew which test it was. And I said, okay, I know test number 19 or number 13 is going to be wrong. Should I make it yes or should I make it no? That's how well I knew the test. Okay. And I eventually passed it, and then the staff was like, oh, good job, Mr. Inoue, good job. I'm like, yeah, get out my face. You just stole $3,000 from me. I don't want to hear no good job. Crooks.
How did you feel, though, like when you actually passed it finally?
Relieved. Relieved. It's like, it's the system in Japan. It's designed to have rules, and that's one of the things I respect about Japan. It's about rules, and you got to follow them. You think from American mentality, well, we can get by, or well, I'm American, I should be able, that kind of mentality, but you can't. You got to, if you want to be here, you got to follow it, and you got to pay those dues. You just got to do it, and that was my mentality. I just said, well, I got to do it, no matter what it takes. I'm going to get my driver's license. So I did it.
Okay. So would you say that was also your greatest triumph?
No.
Okay. So
no, that was my worst triumph.
Okay. So what was your greatest triumph so far in Japan?
Oh, I had a lot of great triumphs. I think one of my greatest triumphs is the accomplishment that I get when I meet one of my students, like an elementary student that came to me and said, oh, Miss, you were my teacher in the 3rd grade. And, like I had one guy who worked for Toyota. He works for Lexus. And he said I was his favorite teacher in the 3rd and 4th grade. Okay. And that's one of my greatest feelings, that, that I inspired a lot of children. And it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. So, and I still keep in touch with all of these students. So, yeah, that's one of my greatest triumphs. All right.
So what has your black experience been like in Japan? Being a black man in Japan, what has that been like for you?
Should I really?
You should.
Okay, I'm going to get real. Sometimes being black is hard. I look at it as like, you being a lion in the jungle, but you're in the forest, but you're still the lion. And people forget that you are still a lion. And that's the mentality. It's like, I love Japan, I love the people, and I love, things that happen, but then some people forget I'm still that lion. I had an incident. that happened, and this is true, it happened 2 days ago. And I was going shopping in the store, and I was talking to my friend on the phone, and I'm like speaking English. I'm like, yeah, I got to get some mouthwash to get it. And this Japanese guy came in front of me, and he looked at me, and he said, "Shut up." And at first, I'm like, well, maybe he's saying the wrong thing. So I said, "Excuse me?" And he like stepped up to me. "Shut up." Now, coming from the streets, a brother step up there, you know what's next. So I'm like, so then I wanted to let him know, like, "Chatamate," and chatamate is like, wait a minute, And then he said it in Japanese to make sure that he knew what he was saying. He said, "Tamare." That's in Japanese, it means like, shut the hell up. So I'm like, I had my basket in my hand, I dropped it. And that's when I switched modes. And I'm like, dude, do you know who the hell you talking? I'm not no child, I'm a grown ass man. And I'm like, and I stepped up to him. As soon as I did that, then he changed moods and he like kind of turned around and walked away. And I'm like, nah, where you going? Where you going? And then a lot of their customers had their phones out watching me, and I'm like, okay. And I had my friend on the phone. He's like, Rich, no, Rich. I can hear him in the background, and I have my phone down. He's like, Rich, like, and I'm like, okay, I'll just stay right here. And I'm like, where you going, dude? No, you want me to shut up? I thought you were. And he walked out. But yeah, that's what's hard. It's like, I love Japan and I love being me, but they kind of sometimes forget who I am. And sometimes you got to remind them that, I can be me, but there's more to me than just this skin color. There's a lot of like attitude and a lot of love and a lot of respect, and they forget that they don't know that. So, where they figure that, oh, you should not act like that. Well, you don't know me. So that's what I showed him there. So yeah, that's my story. I'm sorry to say that.
No, it's
it's
what
like
happened, right?
Yeah, it's like I don't like to be like that. I'm everyone that really, really knows me. I'm the really happy, smile, go lucky person. But my wife described me perfectly. She said, "Have you ever seen a gorilla?" And I said, "Yeah." "Why? You gonna call me a gorilla?" I said, No. A gorilla is a gentle animal. Just don't piss them off." And I said, "Oh yeah, you're right. And then he said, "That's my husband. That's my husband. He's that gentle person, but just don't make him mad.
Yeah.
And you'll be happy." And my wife knows that. And it's like, I'm not violent, but I'm still that gorilla. You don't threaten me. You don't do that. So yeah.
So what about like a positive?
Oh, there's a lot of positive. Everything that I do, I try to show positive. Like let's talk about this R2D2. When I first built it, everyone was against it. I was going to the shop and they said, "No, you can't build that, blah, blah, blah." And then the problem was that once I built it, everyone loved it. It's like I always get smiles. I get people to stop all the time. My car's R2D2. It's just, that's the positives that when I do something, I always try to bring smiles or try to be a good feeling to it. Anything. So you look in my room right now, all this is Legos, and I have children that walk by here all the time looking, and they think it's a toy store. I said, yeah, come learn. So,
yeah, like the decor is amazing. So what would you say was one of the greatest lessons you've learned to living in Japan for over 2 decades so far?
Good question. Patience. And I say that with calmness, because for anyone that is living in a different culture or living in a different country, you find certain things that are very important. But I think one of the most important things that I've learned in Japan that I had to grasp is patience, meaning not just understanding culture, not learning the culture to speak it, but you have to understand that patience in everything, even learning or dealing with people or understanding people or having people to understand you. Or teaching, because I had a way of teaching. I teach all the time, and I said, "Wow, it's so easy. You don't know how to do this." Oh my God, no, you gotta have patience. So, I think that was one of the biggest things that I've learned living here in Japan is to have patience with anything that you do.
So, what inspired you to start a school, your own school?
My mother.
Okay.
My mother. And what I mean by my mother is. she's my stone. You know, my mother always been, you know, coming from a generation where your mother is a single mother growing up with 3 boys, you know, and trying to be the father figure at the same time. My mother taught me that education was very important, and I was not good at it.
Okay.
But my mother kind of taught me where your art should be that part of you. You know, use things that you know, use what you're good at to help you to educate yourself, to help you do better. And I did that. And then when I started teaching here in Japan, I learned that I could do more. I could not be the typical ALT because I had all these gifts. And I didn't want to be the typical, like, clown or Sammy Davis Jr. image that oh, just dance for us, sing for us. No, I ain't doing that. No, I'm not doing that. You know, I want to do it, but I want to do it my own way. So I decided that I wanted to start my own school. And in doing that, I know to start your own school, start your own business, it's hard. It's not an easy thing. One of the things that gave me the advantage is because my name was a Japanese last name, that helped it a lot. If they, you know, when I went to the bank and I'm telling them that I want to start a school and everything, and the bank seen this Japanese, oh, well, is he Japanese? And they seen the kanji, they're like, okay. So that helped. That helped. So it helps. It smoothens a lot of things out. Because I even play baseball. I'm a baseball player. When they seen like on my name on my back and they see a Japanese kanji, and they see a big black guy, they're like, huh? So yeah, it's really funny. Even when it's wrote in alphabetical letters and it says Inoue, and they're like, is he wearing someone's shirt? So yeah, that always happens. So yeah, I think that is a big thing with me here.
So with the name, briefly, so is that your wife's name or you just...
She owns me.
Okay, got it.
She owns me.
Got it. So the name of your school is?
Alba plus English School. Now, why I called it Alba is because the first owner that I used to work with, he was from Ireland, and the main city was called Alba.
Okay.
And I liked the lettering because it was started with an A and end with an A. So when people, if you Google it, my school will come up first.
Oh.
And then the plus was because a lot of people have Eikawa schools. But what they got out of my school is not just learning English, but enjoying English. Why? Because they got to get entertained. They got to do fun things. I just don't teach English. I show how you use English. So I'm doing crafts. I'm doing 3D printing. I'm doing programming. I'm doing music. So what I learned that Japanese, there's a lot of Japanese schools, even in the public schools, they want to learn English. But the problem is they don't get to use it. So you get a lot of students that went to high school, went to college, and they're like, oh, I don't remember English anymore because they didn't use that. Yeah. And that's what this school brings them, is they get to use that constantly. But they get to use it in a way where they have fun with it. I made my school designed it around all types of games. I actually created games that, you know, I should even just pad. I shouldn't even get a license for it. But I created games that help remember and how to use English in a fun way. And I had many teachers. I had many ALTs. It's like, wow, can you teach me how to play the game? I'm going to use that game. I need to use that game. I get that all the time. I know what works. I've been here long enough to know what doesn't work and what does work. And one of the biggest challenges with, you know, the Japanese education, it's a great education, but they don't have a lot of the tools and fundamentals to get the children to enjoy it.
Okay.
It's like, you know, here, learn it, remember it, study it, here you go, and that's it. So that's the difference with, you know, with the school I have here, is that I want them to be able to, you know, enjoy what they're doing. And it's easy. You know, when I have mothers that come in here for a trial lesson and say, I want my child to trial, when they leave, they'll say, how was it? It was fun. Can I go? Wow. And that's how I sell it. It's like, I call it, and I tell my wife, I call it the McDonald's technique. You know, and when I be my McDonald's technique, they spend millions of dollars, thousands of dollars for a child to go, McDonald's, McDonald's. Why? It's the color, the games, the things outside. And that's what I did here. It's like, I want them to come here and feel first comfortable. Then the second thing is feel curious. What is here? Why? And then they feel the environment. They feel the environment's English, and they feel comfortable with it, so then they don't feel scared. You get one of the biggest things that Japanese always are afraid or shy. And that's what I try to get them to overcome, is that shyness. Then the second most important thing is failure. To me, I taught Japanese that failure is education. That's the biggest fear, is that when they fail, oh my God, I failed. I'm going to die. I don't believe this. I feel sad. But I teach them that failure is education. I say, if you want to be a winner, learn how to be a loser. And that's one of the strongest things that I teach in the children here.
Okay, so when people come inside and they see that you're black, does that, tell us about that.
It depends on the age of the child. Okay, you get some children. See, I have a certain way. The younger they are, the younger the child is, the less eye contact I give them.
Okay.
Because then eyes become threatening. So the child will come in here and the child was like this. I don't look at them. I look around and they're like, yeah, okay. I ignore them, because I want them to feel comfortable, And the older they get, the more curious they are. My students will come and rub my head and everything and rub my face and rub the hair on my skin because they're curious about that. So the first thing that, they want to see, that was the hardest thing when I had the school is that, and I'll be honest with it, I used to have like 2 teachers over here. It was my friend. I said, his name was Rocky from Australia. I said, Rocky, I want you to work here. Why? I'm a terrible teacher. I said, no, but you're white. White is right. Wow. And I had him in here just to get the teachers to come and just to get the students to come in here, and then I take over.
Okay.
But I had to do that because in Japanese image, that's what they wanted to see.
Okay.
And I understood that. And then I didn't have a white teacher, so then I put a Japanese woman in here just to get them to feel comfortable. So I learned what technique, I learned what works. And once they see, okay, but what's behind that is the education, they don't care.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the threshold. Welcome to my school, Alba Plus English School. This is my school in Nagaoka. Here's my car. It's my R2D2 car. And this is a customized decal I actually got put on this car. My car is fully customized, and this is how I travel with my R2D2. I actually built a slope that slides down, and R2D2 has this cute little seat belts locked down, and his charger unit, and that's how I get everywhere in my R2D2.
So you built it yourself?
Yes, everything in here is customized.
Okay.
Everything. If you take a quick look at my car, even this control box I have here powers all the systems in my car. So everything that's controlled with R2D2 is controlled from this panel right here that I made. So let's come into my school and I'll show you. First, you gotta excuse the mess. I just coming from an English camp program. I'm always busy in the summer doing English camps. Here we have my R2D2. This is a 100% aluminum built R2D2. It weighs 110 kilo. And I'll actually take the dome off really quick so I can show you the inside of it. Here.
How long did it take to build?
7 years. 7 years of trial and error. And yeah, it actually came out. I take this R2D2 everywhere with me. Starbucks coffee, restaurants, supermarkets, everywhere. Here is my Lego world. It's still I'm still working. I work on this with my students, so it's a lot to see. Everything here works and lights up. This hunk of chocolate you see right here is a mountain. I'm gonna actually put trees and stuff on there later. It's gonna be Lego trees all over that. But as you can see, there's a lot of 3D printed stuff that I do here. I teach my students 3D printing. So students from 3rd grade up to high school, I'm teaching 3D printing. For example, if you come over here, you can see some of the stuff that my students made. This is an actual working violin, all 3D printed.
Okay.
And I actually had one of my students play it after she even finished it. So yeah. So I have here 3 3D printers, and all the filament is over here. And this is our workstation. I do teach students programming. That's a 3D printed battle droid that was working and it fell apart, so I got to put it back together. As I say, everything's work in progress. Everything that I do is work in progress. But I have the students working here with programs, doing programming, early programming. I'm doing that with that.
Love these monitors.
Thank you, thank you. And in here is my man cave. My wife hates this corner. This is my office, but I'm working on it, as I said before. I have my computer here. I'm a gamer. So I'm into games. You'll be seeing, I like to do online games. I'm playing online games now, Star Citizen. And this is my trophy area. This is 3D printed. This is my first R2D2. Before I built my R2D2, I bought this to scale up to the real R2D2 that I have right now.
Okay.
And these are some of the other robots that my students actually built. This is a working robot. This is a working robot. So all these are robots that I work with my students. I do a little bit of everything. As I said, I teach electronics. This is something a 4th grade student, I had him built and learning how to do electronics. So this was actually working. And yeah, we're always doing stuff hands-on. We're always trying to do stuff that's hands-on. Let me take you to my drone corner. I have approximately 23 drones. This being my largest and most expensive, which is a DJI Inspire 2 drone. Quite expensive and quite sensitive. So this is my DJI Inspire 2. And the camera hookup is here, the batteries are here. And I have the Inspire 1, which is here. And then I have this drone here that I'm not going to say the name of. It's a surveillance drone that I actually do. But yep, so I do a lot of drones. I teach my students how to do drones. So even on my PC, I have a drone simulator program. And the students actually learn how to do aircraft and drones and programming, how to program a drone.
Okay.
So one of the most important things I like to do at my school is hands-on. So when they come here, it's not just learning English, they get to use English. This is my fish tank. The cute part about this fish tank is I bought fish 6 years ago, and these are the grandchildren of the fish that were original fish here. I never bought new fish. And every fish in here has a particular job, and the snails and the shrimp all work together to make this perfect ecosystem. All I do is add water. I add water about once a week. I add just a little bit of water here. I don't have to clean it. I feed them, and that's it.
And you said the water from this,
oh yeah,
that plant, right?
So I take the dirty water, and what I do with the dirty water waste is I pour it into this plant. This plant was a baby plant. About 6 months ago, this was a baby. And now it's literally flourishing, and I want to see how far I can get it. My hope is I want to get it all the way over there. I want the vine to go all the way over there. But yeah, it's like perfectly nourished. It's a perfect plant. And I just feed it the waste from the plant. That's going to be my next project, which is a BB-8. I'm working on a BB-8. So this is all 3D printed. And these red marks is all the blemishes that I have to sand. So this is almost finished. I got to put another coat on there. And then I'm gonna put the lights in here. But this right here is the first project of it. I'm gonna sand it down, then I'm gonna start making the working components for it. So then my R2D2 will have a friend.
So do you speak Japanese?
Yes, oh boy. I'm now officially going to Japanese class.
Okay.
All right, and that's funny because the teacher says that I can speak very well. My pronouncing and intonation is great, but I can't read the kanji and the hiragana. And I always really had this thing about katakana. I hated katakana.
I think everyone does.
Oh my God, it just destroys English. It's like, my name is Richard, but in Japanese, Dichado. And then when I was a DJ, it was called DJ Richie Rich. But then DJ Litchi. I said, that sounds like a rash. I'm like, no, man, that ain't cool. So it's like, katakana just destroys English. So yeah, it's like, but now I have to do it. So my teacher, I like her cool because I told her, I said, don't hold no bars. I said, don't be shy. And she said, you sure? I said, yeah. I said, if I do it wrong, you hit me. Yes, she does. She said, no, chica, dame. And the teacher's like shocked. Like, I said, no, you push, you do that. So yeah, I said, and then at the end, she's like, gomenne. I said, no, gomenne, daijoubu. So yeah, I gotta get it. I'm now learning more Japanese because my children, my youngest is 3, and he speaks English very well. But now, because he's getting older, he's starting to say more Japanese sentences. So he's like, Daddy, I'm like, huh? What? Huh? What? Huh? What? Mommy, what did he say?
Yeah.
So I like, nah, I think I need to study more Japanese. See, my Japanese is great. It's just that I don't know the grammar. So that ka, ga, ha, wa, o, ma, those things I'm not good at. So I put them in the wrong places.
Yeah.
And because I like to joke, I didn't care. So because of that, people be laughing. And I'm going to tell you a funny Japanese. This is true. My first biggest mistake, and I'm going to say it. I went to Yoshinoya. And I heard this guy asking for this thing. And I said, that looked good. I'm going to say that. And I said, yes. Can I have some chin chin chiru? And the guy went... And the staff was like laughing. He was trying not to like, hi. And everyone was laughing. I was like, wow, did I say it wrong? Hi. I said, chin chin chiru. He's like, yes. And what I asked for is piss soup. It's supposed to be kinjinjiru. But I said chin chin, and I was like, oh God. But I learned, those are the things that I was cool at. I'm not afraid to say the wrong thing. Yeah. And that was always been my personality. But that's how I get along with people. It's like the neighborhood shops all around here, they all know me. If you go to 7-Eleven right now, they all know me by name. The police, they know me because I'm always engaging in English and Japanese. And I'm not afraid to like ask a question and speak the wrong way. So yeah, but that's how you learn. So that's just been my personality.
So any advice for people who are looking to come to Japan to move here?
My best advice is learn about the language, learn about the culture first, but don't be afraid to try new things. That would be my best advice. But Japan, one of the things I love about Japan is a very safe place. Very, very safe place. I've left my wallet. I dropped my wallet. I left my phone. People will return it to you. You go to the police, say, hey, this is your phone, and whatever. So that's one of the things that I admire about Japan.
So you spoke about your wife and your kids, right?
Yep.
So can you tell us about that dynamic, right? The intercultural, interracial relationship and family life. Tell us about the beauty and the struggle of it.
Okay. My wife, she is basically my other half. And literally when I mean my other half, because without her, I couldn't be this. This wouldn't be the way it is. In Japanese culture, the wife handles the money. I'm broke right now. Literally, I don't have money.
Your wife has the money.
Exactly. So, but I'm comfortable. I don't have to say, oh, I got to pay that bill. Oh, I owe money. Oh, my God. I don't have that problem. You know, back at home, I'm like, your bill's late. You're like, oh, the bill collector. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Don't answer it. Don't answer it. Don't answer it. I don't have that problem anymore. Yeah. So, yeah, there's times I got to ask my wife, can I buy this? Can I buy? And then I got to sell the story to get it. But that's the balance. That's the give and take. Okay. As for children, I have two boys, Ray and Hito. And they are fun. You know, they are very fun. They're not camera shy, and they love doing things. They love trying things. And the relationship with us is that my youngest is closer to me, and the oldest is closer to my wife. So anytime that they fight, the youngest will come to me and go, Daddy, and then the oldest will go to the mother and say, Mommy, he's going, and we got to argue out like a court thing, and she's the lawyer for him, and I'm the lawyer for them. We're going back and forth and everything. But it works out well. It works out well.
So you said earlier that the kids were the bridge between the cultures?
Yeah. One of the things that a lot of people would ask is, you know, how with culture barrier, where's the bridge at that? And I say that the bridge with cultures, you have Japanese culture and you have black culture. And yeah, it's a line. It's a black and brown or tan line. But that bridge is our children. They are the hybrids. They are the ones that show you that it does work. You know, they are the proof that it does work. When we sit at dinner all the time, we're conversing. And we're talking English and Japanese and going back and forth. And there's culture going back and forth. There's a lot of, like, for example, my sons know, get your elbows off the table and don't stand on the couch. But Japanese will stand on the couch. And I hate it. That's my culture. You don't stand up on the couch and that kind of stuff. So you have those culture barriers going back and forth, but the children are that bridge, and they get to learn both of them. So yeah, that's important.
So you do so many things, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you find time? Because guys, look, I'm not even joking. Like when I say like Richard does everything, like the man does everything. Even for his wedding.
Yeah.
He actually designed the whole outfit, everything. The cake, the outfit, the wedding dress,
the suit, all the bridesmaids suits and vests, the ties. I choreographed that, I directed it, I produced it, I created the cake, I designed the cake. So yeah, I did everything for that.
Yeah. How do you find time to find all these ways to express yourself? There are things that I do well, different things, but I'm like, oh, I don't have time to do this part and that part. How do you balance it?
Well, it's like this. I like to work. And I sometimes will go home at 3 a.m. And my mother knows that. My mother will be watching this video. Sorry, Mom. She knows. Because she's the one who told me to contact you. Yeah. But I'll tell you, it's funny because my mother kept calling it BET Japan. I'm like, what's a BET Japan? You know, the BET Japan, it's like the black BET. I was like, no, it's BEJ. So, yeah, I find time because I teach school and I finish school at 9 o'clock. And after that, I go home to be with my children. I always got to see them. I like to see them when they get up. I like to see them when they go to bed. So I spend time with them. And once they go to bed, I come back here.
Okay.
But then that's when I change hats. And that's when I turn into my art mode. I turn into doing my things. I take him apart. And I'll do that till like 3 a.m, 4 a.m. And then after that, I come back home, I sleep. So yeah, and I'll sleep till about 9, 10 o'clock. So that theoretically means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 hours of sleep usually, 5 hours. But I enjoy it. You know, a lot of people say, yeah, only 5 hours? Yeah, 5 hours.
I've never seen like all these things in one person like balance so well and express so well and loudly. Like you're a unique individual.
I'm glad you said that. You said loudly. I have this philosophy, and people that know me know this. It's called the wow factor, and that's written in anything that I do. And if you don't go, oh, damn, whoa, then it's not mine.
Okay.
And I told, even my teaching, I even told to my teachers, because I was arguing with the teacher, and they was like, well, we only can put that type of table. I said, no, if we're going to use that kind of table, I'm not doing it. They was like, huh? You're going to? I said, I drove all the way here, but I would leave. And I said, wow. I said, because I give 100%. And if I'm gonna get 100%, I want you to meet me halfway. And they wanted to be in these little tiny I said, I want a regular size legal table because I'm doing work. So, and I told them, I said, anything that if you don't say wow to it, then it's not have my approval. So that's just how I am.
Was it your mom who helped to cultivate that mindset? Or where did that come from?
Trying to fit in with the 2 brothers. I was the middle child.
Okay.
I had an older brother and a younger brother, and being the middle, I was pretty much kind of different from them.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just trying to fit in life in that era of the 70s and 80s, that era. You know, it's just that was back in the time where, still, trying to keep black children not to get killed, to get hooked on drugs and stuff like that. So my mom instilled in me determination, never give up. And she said I was a prodigy of that because times I get emotional about it because my mother told me that I was always sick. I had like seizures and I had pneumonia. And the stories that my mother told me that she was holding me when I was a baby and my temperature was so high. And she said I stayed. She can tell that I wouldn't let go. And the story that my mother told me, I got emotional with that. And that taught me a lot that, I'm here for a reason. And when I came to Japan, I had to let my mother know I'm still here. And I wanted to make that sound. I wanted to make that where you can hear the vibrations of anything that I create from here, from Japan to America. And I wanted my mother to feel that. I wanted my mother to say, yep, that's Richie. That's the Richie. So that's why I am the way I am. It's just that, a lot of people ask me, I said, yeah, it's my mother. It's bestowed on my mother. My mother, again, she was my rock. She's my compass, and I love her to death. And it's hard sometimes to say that you love your mom because, back in the time, I never could say, I love you, Mom. Love you. But she knows in the things that I do, the work that I've done, when I do little things to show her and I call and say, hey, I did this. And she said, oh, good. So that's how I show it. So,
Okay. So if
I'm getting teary-eyed.
Mom, don't cry, Mom. Don't cry, don't cry.
I'm getting emotional.
If you had like 15 seconds or 30 seconds to send a message to the world, what would it be?
I want to say to the world to respect your parents, respect your grandparents. I think that people in the world kind of forgot the spiritual morality, the spirituality. I think a lot of people have forgotten that. And that's one of the things that's a very important thing to me. And what I do is that spirituality, that fear and that respect.
Reverence.
Exactly. In every little thing, even like, when you cook food or, you're eating food and you saying tadakimasu, I'm like, oh, that don't mean anything. That's just grace. But even that sound means that you're being thanks for that food. It's just every little thing. So I think I want to say to the world that, you got to be spiritual. You got to be able to have that spirituality and don't let that go, Call your grandparents. Say, hi to your mother if you haven't said hi. Reach out to a friend that you haven't talked to and say, hey, what's up? And that's one of the things that I try to show to a lot of personal friends. That's why even when I'm in Japan, I still contact a lot of my friends in the States. And they're, oh, my God, what's up? And I said, yeah. I even called one girlfriend that really cheated on me and hurt my feelings and everything. And I called and I said, hey, she said, what? I said, yeah, you remember you cheated on me? You dumped me? Yeah, I'm sorry. But I just do it just to do it, just to show love. Then that's just me. But that's just how the character I am like that.
All right. So where can people find you online? And guys, please go and support Richard, right? Check out all the links. So where can they go?
Fun Jam Japan. Fun Jam Japan is my YouTube site, and basically it's talking about me and my family, how we have fun in Japan. Everything that I do is on Fun Jam Japan. If you Google R2D2 Japan, you'll find everything. Twitter, Instagram, everything. You Google just R2D Japan, you'll find all of that. So it's really easy.
Okay, and all the links will be in the description down below. Richard, thank you so much.
Thank you. I am glad you took the time to come here, man.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yes.
Right?
You definitely got to come back.
I will.
Definitely got to come back.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And remember to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Until next time, again, thanks for watching. Bye
See you
now. All right. Cool, man.
That was good.